key program, Global Liberty. As our leaders are striving to work together to solve the financial and economic crisis that the world is facing, the global citizens are asking and seeing unity that is becoming more and more transparent of how human potential and the nations are joining together to solve and work together so that everyone has liberty. And I'm here to talk about and update you folks with the key program, which is essential, which we have the world leaders coming together with President Obama, with the Philippines, with the Executive Administrator, Eduardo Manalo, and other world leaders to globally unite and bring about the funds to end the crisis. And so that with the end of the crisis will bring the liberty to allow others to show their human potential and for us to evolve into the true global citizens that we are. And it's really an exciting time. And so I brought Al Lafar and Catherine Morrow, two of our global delegates that have been traveling and working behind the scenes to bring about the Federal Reserve, the IMF, all the umbrella groups that are going to help to disperse the funds. So I just sort of wanted to have you folks come in and let's do a sort of recap. We've been over to Manila several times, delivered some documents. Give us a little bit about the progress that you've seen and where President Obama and President Aquino are headed next.
Well, I think, we have been there several times and there has been much traction made. President Obama, with this trip that he intends to make to meet with President Aquino, I feel that that is paramount in this whole transition of things that need to be done, first off, behind the scenes, so that all the accounts and all of the people, all of the signatories can come together and finally unlock this key program and disperse the funds that the world needs so desperately.
Why is it important that it's done in unity and the procedures are followed? Because many have tried this before. What's different? What is being seen now?
Well, I think what they were looking for was that benevolent element to it. People who were coming to the Philippines with no agenda, who weren't coming there for self-purposes. And I think that element has made itself known, and that the elders and the old man who actually control the program acknowledge that, and now they're just waiting for the progression from Obama and President Obama and also President Aquino to move this whole thing forward so that the whole world can prosper once again.
And I think as far as the unity, we can't do this all separate anymore. We have kept ourselves so isolated, and that keeps us out of touch with humanity. You know, we've had all these wars, we've had all these negative effects towards all these different countries. So it's really time for every single country around the whole planet, every group of people to all come together for the same purpose, and that purpose is peace. And we must all be unified in order for this program to work.
Well, it's just been so interesting as the world continues to spiral on with more and more unresolved as far as financial and economic growth, where we're so stagnant that trying to do it separately and actually still having old programs, just you can see more and more of the collapse. And so a lot of the global citizens are really, really watching and realizing that, you know, with this transparency now, that they can see how things are not being resolved, but yet as everyone comes together, that unity brings this new, what I call a new form of currency.
Right. It's that old paradigm of consumerism, this old paradigm of me, I got to work my way to the top, and I got to, you know, kill everybody under me, basically, and step on everybody under me, is going out the window. And this idea or this move forward where, yes, everyone has to work together in unity, is a new paradigm that is slowly taking this world by storm. This new paradigm is going to create peace and tranquility throughout the world, where we won't have executive decisions being made behind closed doors anymore, where people know where they stand in relation to their government, and they're not afraid of their government anymore. They're working in conjunction, hand in hand with their government. So we're moving into a whole new paradigm where you can't pull the wool over several billion people's eyes and think you can get away with it.
So it's really true global liberty, the
Yes.
new currency of the key program being dispersed. And talk a little bit, Catherine, about how are the funds intended for? Is it just for the Philippines or the United States, or?
Well, that's the beautiful aspect of this. Because basically when you look at currency, currency is all about energy, first of all, and it's an exchange. And that's what's shifting in a very, very big way. And the funds are definitely used for all of humanity. First, it is going to be taken care of in the Philippines. The people in the Philippines are so precious and so beautiful. And they carry a light that we in the United States used to have that innocence back, between the 40s and the 60s. And we kind of lost that. But the Philippines still carries that. So they have the essence of who the United States really is. And all countries around the whole globe. So these funds are going to be used for all humanity, for all purposes of rising people up so that they have freedom, so that they have food, so that they have homes. So people aren't going to have to be caught up in that trap that they have to do certain things to gain certain things. It's going to be more about energy, about what it is that you can give to humanity instead of what it is you can give to yourselves. So it's going to be a major shift, and it's really an exciting time to be here and be a part of this key program.
That's really awesome. What I love is it sounds like, actually valuing each other. So it's a level playing field. It's not where the return is only that cash return, where the return is indeed each other. That each person is worthy and each person has that opportunity. So what I love is that, throughout the history of civilization, we've grown and we've done so many things, and we know what we can do. We can destroy as much as we can build. And so it's really a time that's so exciting because it's a new level of consciousness of realizing that everyone's human potential will be honored, and you don't have to worry what the return on the investment, because what I'm hearing and what I've seen is there's more than enough currency for everyone.
Exactly. Right. And we also, our sense of, worth, where did we ever come up that a housekeeper's pay is way less than the executive that, owns the company or is running the company? How did we got all twisted with people's worth because every single person's part or role that they play in their jobs or their everyday life shouldn't be less than anyone. Because it is all about energy. It's all about what we give. And once we can all see that and start to relate to that, people are going to want to do things at a higher level. They're going to want to work much harder. And because now they're finally seeing, well, my worth is just as important as his worth or her worth. And, I'm important now. And so I think people's whole perspective is going to change.
Yeah, it's not like we're coming up with this idea or pushing this agenda that we're moving into this utopian mindset where everything is perfect, everybody's perfect. No, we're still going to have challenges as human beings, but we're moving more into an age where self-responsibility is the main focus. Self-responsibility for your own happiness, self-responsibility for your own sense of well-being internally. That's where we're going. The funding is going to help to alleviate a lot of stress for a lot of governments, a lot of people, a lot of families. And the beauty of it is it's going to help people to realize what is true for them, what is to be their focal point in their lives, what is it that's coming from their hearts that they want to express to humanity. And this is where we're going. And it's and a glorious day, glorious days ahead, I will say, that we're seeing with this whole program, and how it's going to ignite that flame of passion and compassion for one another throughout the world.
And to really see all the groups come together, you know, is what's exciting, that that we're not getting rid of old systems, we're joining them together and allowing them to function again, because it's really, everything is blocked right now and nothing is working correctly, no matter how many theories or whatever they're trying. There's just such a lack that the KEY program brings about the funds that cover, because even the IMF is saying they don't know if they have enough money for Europe and blah, 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 and it's a never-ending spiral that as the leaders honor each other and really try to make the change that goes all the way down to every person, you know, that the KEY program allows that, the ability to have the funds to really let the people not be enslaved, but to have their liberty. And then it's more inspiration. So what I find so exciting is to watch this grow and to see the polarities of our times really, really equal out. And you know, just for us to be alive is so exciting now. We've had so much of other things. You know, we're so good at breaking things, but we're so good at fixing things. You know, and so to allow each other this time to grow together, no matter what your color, your race, your level, where you've been, and to really open up your heart and allow the love of the currency of the KEY program and the energy of that, you know, God's bigger plan for all of us. You know, as a journalist and editor-in-chief, it's been so exciting to watch the progress of this, and to at sometimes just think, oh my goodness, why have we waited so long to reach this point?
And you know, I think humanity had to go tipped totally over to the other perspective of this whole sense of lack. We've been ingrained, oh, there's not enough food, there's not enough water, there's not enough money, there's not enough of everything. And we live in an abundant world. This world is so full of everything that we need. There is not one thing that we really do lack. So I think the KEY program primarily is not only just about the funding, it's about changing everyone's mindset from that lack to that abundance
What's allowing
mindset.
the co-creation
Right.
is what I
Exactly.
really, as I started to think more and more about where the richness of this is, that this wealth has been there for such a long time. But until all the key players started to come together and realize that the unity of it, and that we're co-creating, and what do we want to co-create? You know, what is it? Because we've got technologies that are magnificent. We've got so many things. And like you said, it was going from, you know, not having the abundance to realizing there is enough for everybody, you know, and that the balance is there if you start to look and ask the questions and not just accept the fear that's been put there out on the table, and to really allow the global leaders to shine the way they should shine.
Right.
You know, it's so I really feel so much courage for President Obama, for all the delegates of the different, you know, whether the folks from the Pentagon. It's, you know, we have so much there, the Vatican, that this is going to really allow that level that everyone's been striving.